What's up guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I am going to get straight into the point. Today we are going to be talking about how much does it cost to put a kid through sports. So for those who do and do not know, sports are not free, unfortunately. Whether you're going to go watch the sport, whether you're playing in the sport, whether you're coaching it, it's not free. Unfortunately, it costs a lot of money. And how much does it cost? I'm going to tell you guys. So I'm going to pull up a couple different numbers from a couple of different sports, and that'll give you guys a rough estimate of how much does it really cost for these kids to play sports nowadays. And I'm talking from like when they're getting started at like 4 or 5 years old all the way up to like 14, 15, 16, up to 19 in college kids. And it's quite surprising when you actually look at the numbers. So I will be putting up some numbers on screen that will be showing you guys roughly how much it costs to put a kid through a good soccer academy here in the area. I got the numbers from a local team over in Concord, who, from what I know from a personal experience, are one of the best teams in the area. They send dozens of kids to D1 schools every single year. One of their coordinators was one of my college coaches, and this program is not cheap, but from what I said, they are sending multiple kids to college every year on soccer scholarships, and it's just crazy. So if you're lucky enough to make this team and you're one of the selected few, this is what you're going to be looking at in payments. So if you're part of the entrance group when it comes to the Developmental Academy that they have, you're looking at a $180 payment with $90 a month. What these fees are for is for these kids to be able to play on the team, and the fees are also to help pay for the fields, the coaches, the equipment that they use, and the leagues and tournaments that they play in on a regular basis. What they don't cover though is the uniforms and the equipment that the player themselves have to buy. The uniforms are running about $300 to $350 for 2 jerseys, 2 shorts, 2 socks. That does not include shin guards, that does not include cleats. So you're looking at about another $200 to $250 just in cleats and shin guards alone. And what this also doesn't include, which is like the biggest cost that isn't mentioned, is the time commitment. It's the travel, the food, the hotel stays. This is all apart from team fees. This is a very expensive part, and I did not realize this growing up until now when I was doing the research for this video, how big of a thank you I owe my parents, for especially my dad, who was the one driving me to these tournaments and would bring the whole family along. And we were staying in places for about 2 to 3 days over the weekend, in hotels and in food and in gas and in just time itself. And I owe him a big thank you for that. And if you are somebody who played sports, I think you guys owe your parents a big thank you too, because this is a big time commitment. To be able to take your kids to practice 2 to 3 times a week, play games on the weekends, and if you have tournaments, you're traveling for long distances, you got to pay for gas, you got to pay for food, you got to pay for a place to stay. And this factors in on weekends and for months and months and months. This is like for 15-month long seasons. This is not cheap. This is an investment. This is an investment to hopefully get your kid to go to college. It's just outright crazy. So doing the math alone for this team, $90 a month, plus the initial $180 team fees, roughly will run you about $1,300 for the year, but that does not include the uniforms, that does not include the hotel fees or the food that you're wasting or the gas. That does not include any of that. So you're looking at about roughly $2,000 to $5,000 depending on what you're eating, how far you're traveling, how often you're traveling, where you're staying. So this is a big investment yearly to your kids. Parents, thank you. Children, be grateful. And I'm not just talking about soccer, I'm talking about basketball as well. Basketball for AAU, which is mainly in the summertime, springtime, you're looking at about $400 up to $4,000 when it comes to these teams. Depending on who you're playing for, how good this team is, how often they travel, how many tournaments they play in. Of course, the more tournaments you're going to play in, the more exposure you're going to get as a player. These college coaches will look at you really seriously if they see you so much more often than if they see you once or twice a year. If they see you at every single tournament with as many teams as you could play for, as many teams you could play with or against or in total, they will give you a good look. You play with the team and one tournament over the summer, they'll forget you in an instant. They see these kids who are playing, they're playing 3, 4, 5 tournaments a summer. They're going to recognize you, they're going to see you, but of course it's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay big bucks for this stuff. When it comes to baseball, which is a lot of what my brothers played, travel ball is very expensive, especially because you're playing it in a short amount of time. You're playing it within a 4 to 5 month period where you're playing every single weekend, you're playing 2 to 3 times a week, and you're playing tournaments maybe once or twice a month. And baseball tournaments are really, really long. I mean, baseball itself in one game takes about maybe 2 hours. So if you're playing multiple games in a day, that's about 5 to 6 hours that you're playing in the tournament for one day. And then you're going to have to play again the next day and maybe the next weekend. So in that short time period, you're playing a lot of games, but you're also spending a lot more money. You're spending roughly around $4,000 when it comes to travel teams. And again, that does not include your equipment, that does not include your cleats, that does not include your helmets, any of that stuff. Equipment is expensive on its own. I remember as a kid, I would ask my parents for these big expensive cleats thinking they're going to make me the best player I can be. But at the end of the day, it's just cleats. You look good, you feel good, you play good. That's always the mentality for people. I remember I would trick my parents, unfortunately. I would tell them that I would want these pair of cleats, and I would show them the cheaper version, which are roughly about maybe $100 to $150. But once they would give me their debit card, I would go for the pair that was like $200, $250, and then just type in the card number, give them their card back, and then once the cleats would come in, I would get it, wear it, whatever, and then they get their bank statement at the end of the month, and they see how much I really spent. And when I was going through a time in my life when I was hitting my puberty time and I was growing and I was getting bigger, I was going through cleats maybe 2 to 3 times a year, and that's not cheap. Cleats are not cheap anymore. Cleats are roughly running about anywhere between $100 to $350. It's insane. For basketball, I know basketball shoes for kids alone are running like maybe $110 to like maybe about $200 depending on what you're buying. Baseball bats are no joke. Unless you're buying them at Target for 15 bucks, you're not gonna get a good bat. These bats are crazy expensive, and that's not including a whole lot of other stuff, that little things that you have to buy. People buy their wristbands, their headbands, their eye black, their shin pads, their knee pads, whatever they have to buy. This stuff is not cheap. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these kids who are underprivileged and cannot afford to play these games are missing out on a great experience with sports. Sports is where you build character, you make friends, you meet people, you get to travel a lot. But a lot of these people unfortunately do not get that privilege. And it's quite unfortunate because I live in Oakland where I see on a regular basis many talented kids when it comes to sports, when it comes to baseball, soccer, basketball, football. I played with some of the best people I've ever seen in soccer, and unfortunately they didn't go anywhere because they weren't privileged enough to pay for these teams and be able to continue going forward. I mean, I started playing on a team where my monthly payment was $35 a month continuously, and when I finally aged out of that, I had to go look for another team, and my dad had to spend about $1,500 to $2,000 a year on team fees, uniform, equipment for myself for like cleats and shin guards, hotel room stays, traveling, food. It's ridiculous. Like, I did not realize how much my dad was spending on me, and I owe him a great deal now. Like, I felt so bad. Like, and knowing that I didn't go D1 made me feel really bad because I know how much time and effort my dad put into traveling with me and taking me to practices and stuff like that. So it was kind of a letdown, but I still continue to play regularly. He still continues to play regularly. There's been times where me and him get to play together, and it's really cool. It's probably one of the best experiences I've had as a player myself. But I owe him a great deal of thanks, and I know a lot of you guys owe your parents a great deal also. So whenever you get that chance, tell them thank you. Like, this stuff is not cheap, guys. These are some of the most expensive times our parents put us through. We're just so lucky and blessed to play these sports. I want to hear what you guys think. What was it for you like growing up playing sports? Tell me about your experiences traveling. Tell me about your experiences in games, the friends you made, the experiences you had. I want to hear from you guys. Leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe. We're almost at 50 subscribers. We're almost there. It's just another milestone to get to 100, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. we're just so lucky and blessed to play these sports. But I want to hear what you guys think. What was it like what was it for you like growing up playing sports? Tell me about your experiences traveling. Tell me about your experiences in games, the friends you made, the experiences you had. I want to hear from you guys. Leave it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video. Subscribe. We're almost at 50 subscribers. We're almost there. It's just another milestone to get to 100, and I really do appreciate you guys' support. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.